So in this episode, I'll talk about the eyebrows. Now, the eyebrows is it's not as tricky in making it because unlike the face or the eyes, they have more free space to play around, and um, you want to expand the limitations of you want to stretch limitations the flexible areas of the eyebrows as much as you can when you make them, so that later on when you're preparing for the emotions in animator or live 2D viewer, then you can have all the possibilities, because currently what how you're going to do the eyebrows, it's going to affect how much you can play with it. So you want to stretch them a little bit. At some point they might look like it's broken, but that's fine. All right, so let me show you what they do, and so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. So first of all, they follow your head when it moves around. Okay, so when it looks up, right, down, left, they should follow. They should follow to go to where they should be, and then there's the, oops, not this one. They got the brow left and brow left Y and brow left X, and there's a brow right Y and a brow right X. So we got X and Y axes of the left brow and the right brow, and you need them to function separately. You do not want them to you don't want to clump them up in one parameter, because at some point they might have to go in different ways. So, and then we have the brow left angle. So this, where it turns clockwise or counterclockwise, spin it a little bit, and there's one for each side. And then there's a brow left deform and a brow right deform, and the deform is for changing its shape. So there's a normal state, there's sort of a downward crooked eyebrow, and there's an upward one. So you got both, two of them. They might look the same. In fact, they might be a matter of angle only. If you turn like this, and then let's say I spin it up like this. So this one is sort of like the other side of brow L when it's at the normal state. Yeah, it's true, but it's also depending on your character, because your drawing style, your character's personality might determine what kind of expressions he or she might have, and you need at least three shapes to cover universally of those basic expressions. So in my case, maybe I don't need all three kinds. Two kinds might be workable, but it's also there's also another reason for having three. It's because there in Live 2D Viewer, when you apply those default emotions and idle actions and expressions, they might have some default expressions like happy or sad, and by happy they expect that they will turn down the knob to this side, and if it's sad, it might turn this side, and if it's angry, it will turn this side. So if you only have two of those, it might not know, or it might misunderstand what you're trying to do. It might give you the wrong results. Of course, you don't have to use the default expressions or motions. You can make them your own. But I assume that in this course assumes that you don't go that in depth into Live 2D Animator yet. So let's stick to the basics. Let's go with whatever Live 2D Viewer can work with. So that you can get to the point where you can see your interactive character sort of live sooner. All right. So like I said, there's a lot more deformers. There are 5 of them, but they're in terms of drawings, they're only like the left brow and right brow. That's all. There's no covering lids or hidden parts. There's nothing like that. There's only left and right, and then there are 5 deformers controlling them. In fact, you can just use 4, but I prefer 5. The reason there's an extra one is because brow's transformer, the one I'm selecting right now, it sort of control both sides. Where this one is linked to face transformer, so that's why once I applied it, this waffle box will already stick to the face changes as it turns around. That includes these angles. And let me see, I think, yeah, and with a little bit of body X and body Z if they do move it around, or breathing, if it does move around. But whatever the face is already sort of working with, your main transformer for the brows would also go along if you tie it to the face transformer. If you want to have more custom positioning of your brows when it turns its head, turns its body, all that, you can tie it to the next transformer instead, which is a more advanced and a little bit more workload than what I'm doing. So if you have it to tie it to the next transformer, you will only have angle Z and body XZ functioning right now. I think head, yeah, exactly. So you see, if I move the head, the brows do not move, because this way it expects you to move yourself. So how do you do that? Well, simple as throwing in 3 points in angle X and angle Y. So you got the green lights on, and then just go left and say, hey, the head has moved leftwards, so brows, you gotta move too. So you move it like here, and then you turn to right side, and you move it to here, and up. So I go here, a little bit, down, and by proportion, go down like that. And I can also do the corners manually. I mean, it's really not a lot of work, so I might as well do them manually. So I got, this side and also this side. All right. So now I manually have the brows moving around like that. Of course, you can always only do the 4 main directions, up, right, down, left, and then synthesize the corners. But again, let me remind you, every time you synthesize corner, every step you move on to the brow step, you've done the eyes, you've done the head, and then you move on to the brow step, and then you pick synthesize corners, which is right here. If you do that, you will also re-synthesize all the corners that involves with angle X and angle Y. So your face, your hair, and everything else, or your eyes, would re-synthesize those 4 diagonal corners, which means that if you've done those synthesization earlier, but then you did a little changes afterwards, so you did a little refinement on the face, maybe here, maybe the eyes in the corner, you will override those works. So you either leave those, always leave synthesized corner to the last and do it all at once, or just don't do it. Just have your brows, do them individually. It's not a lot of work for the brows. All right. Just be careful a little bit of the accuracy problem, because you see it's not really moving as proportional. It's as it should be. This is a little bit too high. That is more like a horizontal movement. So yeah. So there's a little bit of fixing for me to do here, but I'm not gonna do all the precision in this class. So let's leave it there and just telling you how you do it. If not, you can always cancel them. So angle X and angle Y, you delete them and just have it stick to the face. If you think the face transformer is good enough for controlling the eye, that's fine. All right. So I'm gonna stick to that for now. And what do we have left are the 4 left and right brow positioning and angle. And then, okay, so let's go through them one by one. So let's start with brow positioning, and the parameters it concern would be brow left Y and brow left X. Let me show you how it moves. So it sort of have a little bit of a rectangular area zone for it to move around. And there's no clear cut of how big the zone is, how far left it should go, how high up it should go. There's no technical rule, and it all depends on your animation style, because maybe some characters are more wacky and cartoony, has more dramatic expressions, then you can have a larger area to move around. But if you check the Live2D official samples, they are more of less less wacky, less toony, and more realistic style. And that's why if you check their perimeters, their brow left and brow X, they don't move too much. Almost like this. Yeah. The sort of, if you could go up, it's gonna be like this. Go down, it's gonna be like this, and that's about it. Because their expressions do not require their brows to move so much. But in my case, I should allow it to move more. However, I do think that I might have overdone it, and it's definitely wrong if the case is like such. So stay. Look at this brow here, right? Now I'm gonna go to the far up and then go to far down from the center, and you'll see that far up is a lot more distance pulling than the far bottom, and that is not okay. That's okay for, like, right now it's okay, but the problem is that if you have Live2D viewer giving you the default emotions, they might look a bit off because it only knows how to turn the knob all the way up or down, and sometimes, like, some expressions it would have like dramatic eyebrow, like whoa, and some of them were like just a little bit, and it would look unbalanced. And also left and right, you want to stretch the area as much as possible, but not too far that it might look distorted or wrong by proportion. Okay, and also make sure that they are, what do you call? They are mirrored. So how far left can the right brow go is also how far right the left brow goes. You see this? So you spread them out. You go. You tell. So you set the perimeter for left brow positioning and right brow positioning. Right. You have this brow left Y and brow left X with 3 points on both, and the other side. Remember the other deformer. Okay, the other deformer, right brow's positioning, and you want to do it for the right parameters. I often, not just one, almost every single project, I would mess up on this part. I'm going to finish setting up the parameters. I am going to position them and then realize I got the wrong one and I had to do it over again. So try to stay more focused when you're doing this, or else you would have a lot more workload, like wasted. So again, you want to have 3 points on both, and then now you can start working. So go to the left side, tell it to go far right. All right, let's do it. I'm going to show you step by step. So I go to my backup brows, which hasn't been done yet. So I'm going to do the brow L for left brow positioning, 3 points and 3 points, and press OK. All right, so I got this. And then the other one, right brows. I don't know why to put C2 for me, but yeah. Anyways, right brows, brow right Y, and brow right X. 3 points on both. There, they're set up first, and now we can start working on them. Let's go to left side, ask it to go far right. Go to the right side and ask it to go far left. All right, so let's work them out. Let's have this go to about here. Or I can count my, if I want to be more accurate, I can do it this way. I can count my taps. All right, so I click on the brows, I click on far right, and now I hold down Shift and I tap on my right arrow key. 1, 2. Wait, what? Okay, okay. You don't have to hold on Shift because it's the axes are locked anyways. So I just tap on my arrow key. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I had 12 times on the right, to the right, and then I'll go to my other side. Make sure I'm selecting the right one, the right deformer, and I go the other way, the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So currently, they should be equal on both sides. It should be centered in the middle, and they should spread out equally. What did I? It's what? Okay, there's obviously something wrong because for some reason my left brow perimeter is moving around the right brow. And I have no idea why, because this is not on unless something else is up. Let me try to debug this. Why would this perimeter affect the other brow when the brow... Okay. Alright, so here's an example of how you debug stuff, alright? This is a matter of setting. It's not something that you've drawn wrong or you give the wrong animation. Here's what happens, alright? Let's think about what happened. So the problem is that it's called brow left Y and brow left X. And I've just worked with one side. Actually, it shouldn't even... I think I didn't delete things clearly, and that's why there's a little bit of problem. Okay, so I'm gonna reset the brow L, and the problem should still persist, but I'm gonna do this part again. Go this side. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I'll move back to the center. Now, as you can see, I did the right anchor point of the perimeter for left brow. However, I noticed that the right brow is moving around along, which shouldn't be, because why would left brow perimeters move in right brow at all? So what went wrong? Now my first guess is that maybe right brow positioning deformer actually has these turned on, because if this on this page, if these are green dots, then it would make sense, because I accidentally added perimeters of the left brow on the right side. So that's why it's moving. But I came here and I don't see it. So there are two things left. Alright? It's one possibilities is that they are tied to the wrong deformer. The parents is not where it should be, and that's why it's the parent is actually controlling it. It's not the deformer itself that's moving, because again, right brow or right brow's positioning has no left brow perimeter active. So this perimeter here, or the deformer itself, it's not affecting it or making it move when it's moving around this perimeter. But why does it actually do? What is moving this perimeter? And if you look closely, you see two boxes moving at the same time, which means that both boxes, whichever deformer they are, this one, the parent is moving the child, and perhaps the parent is the reason why it's moving, and that's why ultimately the texture is moving. So let's look at the deformer parent first, if there's a problem with it. Let's go into right browse, C2, right browse positioning, and the parent, it says here, it says browse C2 transformer and quote browse C2. So it's under the group browse C2, so that's good, because at least it's in the same group instead of something else, or that might get really sticky. But it's in the same group, and it's also browse C2 transformer. So the main one, the main waffle that actually has nothing in control. Look at it, there's no green dots at all. So it's not this part, it's something, we have to go back a step. So okay, well, it's not this layer. What layer, what level is it that we have problem? So it must be tying back to right brow's positioning. Alright, so what in the world is moving this around? Well, this moves around, I understand, because it's brow's right. But what about left side? Why is it moving around when there's no green dots? Okay, this is really my terrible mistake, and you guys, hopefully this doesn't come across. If it does, always remember this lesson, alright? You might run into it someday, and you might think very hard, what is going on? Do I have to re-import everything in order to fix this bug? Why is it programmed so crappy? Well, okay, take a deep breath and think about this lesson. Here's what happened. Alright? So, first of all, I should let you know, this browse C2 group was a duplicate, was a clone of the original browse that I already had everything input. So I duplicate a finished group called browse, and along with all the child object and all the parameters all set. Now before this lesson, I deleted all the parameters, and so to reset everything and so that I can show you step by step how to do things. But I had some terrible mistakes. Looking into the thing, although, well, you don't see green dots here, so why does it have to be like, why would this be a problem at all? Well, what you don't know is that green dots don't show unless all dots are supposed to be available in this merged parameter. So these 9 dots in a group, unless all dots are active, or if they're active, then they'll show green. If you only got a few dots active or a few dots don't, or deactivated, then they will not show green dots. If I click this magical blue box and I click C2 positioning, the problem where we have here, it's obvious. Brow left X actually had 3 green dots on, and that is why when we move around these area, even though without dots, it is moving, is because we actually have 3 dots, 3 little naughty dots, and they are doing weird stuff. So what happened was I had them accidentally activated. I deleted the Y for browse left, and that's why there's no green dots anymore. However, I forgot to go to browse X to delete all the rest of the keys. Alright, so now we deleted them. I should make sure it's in the center, but yeah. Alright, let's back a step. I think we still have the problem here. Alright, so we have the problem here, and let's click inside. Take a look. We have 3 dots that shouldn't be here. Now first I want you to make sure it's back at the center, because whenever you delete the dots, it will set the new default position as wherever you were right before you delete the dots. So you don't want to move to, if you have trouble with it moving to wrong places, and then you go to the wrong spot and delete the dots, then you will get the new permanent or the new default position at the wrong spot. So center is usually, center, everything centered should be your accurate one, your accurate guide. Given that, because this is how you got them, right? You first start with a normal state, everything's centered, and they should be accurate. So stick to the center, everything, all right? And then go to, select the problem, and go to the perimeter, and now delete the dots. Okay, so now you cleared things. We just did the right side of left brow positioning, and the other side is not moving. So yes, everything is back to normal. We can go to brow right that we also did and check it, and yes, everything is also normal, regular, usual, no problem. So there you go. We had both sides done. Both sides tapped 12 arrow key to outwards. And remember, they should be in opposite directions. So when the left side go right, the right side go left, and that means both eyebrows move outwards. And this goes in, this goes in. So left side go left, right side go right, and that is inwards. Now I want to do inwards, so I also do 12 taps to the left. And then I'll go to the other positioning, and and then I'll go to right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can't even count. All right, so here's a trick. In and out, left and right, up and down, their counterparts, they should have the about same amount of distance. My previous example, this project, when the first time it was done, it was wrong in a way that, if we take a look again, in a way that the up is far up, but then down, well, I hit the eyeballs already. I shouldn't go any lower, and that's why I sort of back it up to this point. Now, it's not both sides, both directions are not in proportion, and that's why it's not equal, and that's a lot of trouble afterwards. I realize that afterwards when I get to Live2D Viewer. So you don't want to do this. You want to have about the same, and if sometimes, especially when it moves downwards, if sometimes it touches the eye, it breaks into the breaks the line, that's fine. It won't show up in Viewer if you do it accurately. If you do it in the professional way, where you build your own emotions, it shouldn't have a problem. It's only if you use default stuff, maybe some chances you might see a moment of this kind of train wreck, but most of the time it shouldn't show up, so don't worry about it. And so I should go up, but not too far up. Down, that is just about right. If it breaks a little bit, that's fine. What matters is that sometimes if I have it half open eyes like this, or if it's closed eyes, and if the brows go down like this, it looks like it's sleeping. It looks like it's relaxed, because not only the eyelids drop, also the eyebrows. So that's what I want to do. If I do this, it's sort of like a optimistic thinking, sophisticated face, and yeah, it's more obvious if I turn the head a little bit like this. So yeah, that's sort of an optimistic eyebrow if I do that, and that's why there's a difference in dropping low and dropping up, especially when, or dropping low or keeping a normal state, especially when the eyes are closed. So that's one, oops, ignore that. So there's one example of how it works. Okay, let me just turn it off a little bit. All right, so we got, let me see. All right, so I'm not gonna do all nine spots for the positioning. So you get the idea, left and right, and up and down, and then you can synthesize the corners, or you can do it individually. Again, calculate how many dots, how many tap on the arrow key you want. If you're new to it, just keep it small. It's fine. You don't really position the brows a lot usually for most art style. So yeah, maybe if you don't want to get too messy, especially when you throw in those default stuff, just keep it small. It's fine. Whenever when you feel more comfortable with the tools, then go big. It's fine. And so we got the positioning done, and next we get on to the angle. So let's have a look. Of course, it's not done, so I don't know what we're looking at, but it's supposed to be brow left angle and brow right angle. What it does, it sort of turns it, tilt it to one side and the other. So let's go set them up. Right brow, yes, right brow angle, add 3 dots. Go to left deformer, left perimeter, and add 3 dots and press OK. And each has 1 in control. Fair. Okay, so here's what we do. Let's go to right side. Let me double check. I think it's right side that, yeah, okay. So right side is inwards, and left side is slanting the other way. Why do we do that? Wait, sorry, these are, okay, so there's a rule for it. Like, if we're doing the left brow, and we go brow left angle, and we go to the right side of the perimeter, which is 1.00, you want it to tilt downwards or inwards like that. There's a reason for that, and again, this is something to do with Live2D Viewer. The default emotions consider 1.00 as an angry-ish or this direction emotions. So they will tilt your angle this side, or to turn it up to 1.00 when it does an angry face. Or yeah, usually mad or angry and a few other expressions. But if it's sad, it would go the other way. So you want to cooperate with Live2D's defaults. So we got 1.00 this way and -1 the other way. Y isn't selected. Right, this side, go this side, and let's do this. All right, and then a lazy way, a manual way to do it, to do the other side is just look at one side and just turn it up. So this is the sad face, turn it up like this, and you can do the other side as well. Select this, turn it this way, and let's do other side and also turn it inwards. So there you go. You have the angry eyebrow. Maybe it's a little bit off, but you understand what I'm trying to do, right? And you can have a quick check because currently you should be having your brows X and Y positioning fine. And also you can try other angles of your face. You can do this and tilt this way and do your little angle thing, positioning. You can sort of start to build the emotions out. You can have the eyes open, you have certain emotions. Let's say it's very mad and it's looking back, staring back at you like this, and then it has its face angry, so it's sort of intimidating. So yeah, that's how you do it. You have the eyes wide open, head tilted, look to a side and staring back at you, or you can even have this angle Z. Ooh, why the hell? Sorry. Turn the old face. New face is out. That's better. I don't think I fixed. Yeah, I haven't done this new face yet. It was just a quick example. But let's have an old face, and let's move angle Z, move it to a forward, and then yeah, I'll probably just stay normal. And so we got this sort of glaring emotions looking at you. That's how you do. That's how the eyebrows and the eyes and everything come to place and start to work out things that you can play around with. So let's do a little bit more, all right? After you've done the brows, right angle is really simple because you only have two sides. Now, here's the perhaps a little bit more tricky part, and let's set everything back to normal. Yes, and then here's the tricky part is when you work on the drawing instead of any deformer. This time you're working on the drawings, and maybe I'll move it back center a little bit. I think it's a little bit off and it's bugging me. Up a little bit. All right, so let's go left and right brows. The two drawings, not any deformer, the drawings. All right, and I need them here. So brow left deform, add 3 keys, brow, and then and then go to right brow. That's how I usually mess up, is as I forgot to change to the other right side or the other side, and before I set deformer. And brow right deform, add 3 spots. And here's what we need to do. Let's put that angry face away for a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit bugged by the positioning. It's yeah. Nah, let's leave it for now. It's quick. Let's do it quick. Okay, so we're selecting a material, and what this does is turn the shape of the eyebrow into sort of a squiggly. Again, I want, or you want, to have 1.00 as the angry sort of shape, whereas negative would be sort of a worrisome sort of eyebrow. In some art style, they might look the same thing, just a matter of angle. Some are not. So if your case that's not, then here's what you gotta do. Go to 1.00, and you want to change the shape of it, right? So let's revise the method that we taught last class, was the using the deform path. So select the material and then use this pen tool and add in 4 dots. Now I want the first and the end dots extending beyond the curve or the outline of the eyebrow. And I want the inner ones to have one side closer to this corner and one side closer to this corner. So you don't want to equally spread them out because that's easier for you to control. Like for most art style, all right? Again, I emphasize, for most art style, that's how it's supposed to be. And then, so you select the 4 dots. And now, make sure you have, well, you're supposed, yeah, deformer is already up here. So now you hold Control, and you can move the eyebrow. Now, like I said, you're supposed to be do the angry one for 1.00. And that's how you do it. Sort of like that. All right? And then we can do the other side. Or let's first delete this line, because this line it shouldn't stay, because if you add a lot of lines around, it might start to get messy when you're working around. You might end up working with the wrong dots and lines and wasting your effort again. So feel free to delete those blue dots that you just made, and you should see it disappear, the layer just we created just now. So let's click on left brow again, go to the middle and check. Okay, well, that's fine. You know, middle, right, that's fine. So let's go to the left side, -1, and let's do that sad face. Again, click on this tool, make sure you have deformer this side, and let's create those dots. 4. And let's do, oh, oops, hold down Control, or else delete the dot, and do like this. Or maybe I'll do like this time. Or this. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, this one is the same as sort of what I tried to in my first example. So let's do it like that, sort of a downward curve. And if you cover half size of the face, you just look at this side, and she would look worried or upset or disappointed, and sort of that kind of expressions, and then you're on the right track. So let's delete the dots, and let's check our parameter. We got the mad and unhappy. The normal state, the mad, and unhappy. For happy, you just have to move it a little bit and then tilt the angle a little bit, and that's about it. So it's not, so there's no need for more for the shaping. But we had this side already, and we can also check if the positioning, if it moves inward and does the same. Yep, that's fine. Move outwards and check it. Even move the head around. That's all going to work for you. And I think that's about it for eyebrow. You just need to do those 2 shapes. You might not understand the full purpose of it yet, but you once you get to Live2D and throw in the default stuff, it should work out. It should work out just fine. If you're not comfortable with the blue tools, if you're new to this, just keep the changes small. You don't need to be very dramatic, and it adds up. As like I said in the first episode, the effects adds up. You might be working on one part and feel like this part should be more expressive on its own, but then when you're done with all the parts, and when they all work together, the effects sort of amplify by a lot. They multiply, all right? So you might have overly dramatic characters, and because you try to have more, try to stretch its limitations or the range of the effect, you might end up making more mistakes. It might look broken here and there. There's a little bit glitch here and there, and you don't like. That's the reason why you want to keep it small. It looks nice, and have some faith in yourself. It will come out fine. Okay. So we got this, and we got this, and then we got, yeah, and we all already have all the brows deformer. And if you want, you can just play around with it. Just try to move around the head, move around the eyes. And this is the part where maybe you want to go back and change something, because you might be, okay, let's have a quick test. I want to make her look sad, so I'm gonna tilt her head down. I'm gonna close her eyes a little bit, just a little bit. All right, let's move it to the right, and then let's have the eyeball sort of downside. Maybe okay, maybe looking at you. All right, and let's have the brows. Oh well, I haven't done the vertical axes yet, so I'm gonna do this, do this, and do. Oh, I haven't done this. All right, so supposedly I'm gonna do this side as well. So it should give me a sad face, like the character did something wrong, and she's trying to spit out what she just did, and you're sort of yelling at her like, "Look at what you just did! You know, why do you do that?" And she sort of had that expressions responding to you, and that's what you're trying to do. So you sort of set up the thing and make this expression to try out your character. And this is the part when you start to think that, oh, maybe the eyes overdid a little bit, or maybe I want the head to go lower a little bit more or less. You know, maybe overdid it, and you know this is sort of halfway through you want to change things, just go back and change it. All right, so so feel free to test around, and I'll see you next week. I am going to talk about, I don't know yet. I haven't planned that far. But anyways, maybe the hair. I haven't done the mouth yet, right? I don't. Maybe I. Well, too many things happening right now. So anyways, I'll see you next week. And yes, have fun.